All right. First of all, let me give this disclaimer. In no shape or form am I saying that Jewish people are evil. In no shape or form am I saying that the Jewish community is a racist, hateful community. That's my disclaimer. Because if you don't know, I posted yesterday a video about Jewish slave owners, which is an actual fact of history. And I don't know whether it was the colorful language that I used or it was just that they don't like being put on blast about things that they actually did in the past. For some odd reason, YouTube strike down my video. But I'm not going to let that stop me, family. And I'm not going to let that shut me up. So, in order to be a gracious person at this point in time, I'm going to do a less colorful video regarding Jewish slave owners. Now, I must warn them, if this video right here gets struck down, there will be lawful action taken. Because there's no way that you should be able to stop a person's freedom of speech because you're violating their Fourth Amendment. And I know that it's Jewish people that's coming to my site because they've been doing it for like the last couple of months now. And anytime that I say anything about anybody that's Jewish, they flagging my video, saying that it's offensive. And YouTube is taking my videos down. Now, I got a paper trail. I always make sure, and that's something that I want people to know. Always make a paper trail of evidence proving that you're being discriminated against in any shape or form. I mean, even if you have to even if you get on the phone with the person to question them, let them know like this call is being recorded. Because you have every right to be secure. It's your Fourth Amendment to be secure in your person, your personal effects, being your papers, your purse, your pockets, your car, your home, anything. You have the right to be secure in your person. That's your name, anything, all your information. Any information about you, you have every right to be secure. So if you think that you're going into something and somebody's being either racist to you or just judging you off of some bull crap, then yes, you have the right to be like, listen, this call is being monitored and recorded, just like how they do. If they have the right to do it, you have the right to do it too. That's being secure in your person, using your your Fourth Amendment. Now, me, on instance, what I felt like I was being violated on was my First Amendment, because your First Amendment is the right to freedom of speech. You get what I'm saying? And another amendment that I felt that they broke the law was the separation from church from state. You get what I'm saying? Because just because you in some type of religious organization, that don't mean that your privileges oversee mine. So I have the right to bring out history, teach history, and give accurate history. Like the things that I brought up in my video was based off of things that Jewish people themselves found. This wasn't just something from the NOI, because I don't follow the NOI. And I technically don't follow Jewish people, but these are information that I was privy to from Jewish people who did their research. So if you're going to try to strike down my video, why ain't you striking down all the Jewish people that's out there making the same type of videos as me, that are acknowledging that the Jewish community had slaves, that the Jewish community did in fact own vessels, and that allegedly from biblical texts, not even just biblical, but from the Torah itself, where it justifies slavery. And it also justifies, allegedly, because I'm going to say allegedly, it justifies to look down and say that Africans are cursed because of the story of Ham, in which Ham was looking at and coveting the nakedness of his father Noah when they was on the boat, and Noah noticed that he was doing that and told him, because of what you done did. Now I'm gonna put this slide up. It says, because you have abused me in the darkness of the night, your children should be born black and ugly. Because you have twisted your head to cause me embarrassment, they shall have kinky hair and red eyes. Because your lip jested as at my exposure, theirs shall swell. And because you neglected my nakedness, they shall go naked, with their shamefully elongated male members exposed for all to see. Now, this is something that is put in basic English for something that was said. Noah didn't say it to that sense, but he said it to and he didn't say it in that way, but the way that he did say it, it basically meant this right here. You get what I'm saying? But I think in the biblical one, it was spots or something, dark spots or something like that. Neither here nor there. These are things that allegedly motivates some Jewish to look down on Africans because they feel like they are cursed. And allegedly, these are things that make Jewish, feel some type of way about Gentiles. This is why allegedly in their writings, they feel that they are the chosen ones by their God, and that the rest of the world are Gentiles. But they are taught to accept Gentiles into the Jewish faith because all who want to be saved can be saved. You get what I'm saying? So, like I said in my disclaimer in the first part, in no way, shape, or form am I saying that all Jewish people are evil. In no way, shape, or form am I saying that all Jewish people had slaves. In no shape or form am I saying that Jewish people are racist. Even though it's racist people in any culture, any creed, it don't matter what race they is. It's people who have a racism to things that don't even have to do nothing with race. It's just something about a person that they just stereotype. But like I said, they struck down this is the third video that I did about the Jewish community that these guys have struck down straight up off my channel, which is kind of wrong in my frame of mind, because at the end of the day, you're violating my First Amendment. And that's my freedom of speech, to be able to say what I want. As long as I ain't calling you no pig, no disgrace on the human earth, disrespecting you, saying F y'all and all this type of mess, then you cannot try to block world history. History is history. The people are going to find out regardless or not, unless they stupid, dumb, and blind and don't look. Everything must be brought to the light. You in life, you have to atone for the things that you have to you have to acknowledge the things that you've done in your past and make better towards, how can I say, bettering that, and uplifting your people and other people of different races to know, like, listen, you may think that we are saints, but we have our faults too. That's what brings people together. When you have a common thing in common, because what's the common thing amongst all people? We've all done bad things. No matter how bad it was, how high or low it was, we've all done bad things in life. Nobody is perfect. Even your mind can put forth bad things from bad thoughts. You get what I'm saying? So you have to be, you can't hide what you've done. You can't hide doing wrong. There's no shape or form that you could do that. But you get what I'm saying? All I was trying to do was bring forth knowledge that it just wasn't white people that set up there and had slaves. It was Jewish people, and I'm going to give you a rundown of the names, and this is a slide that I'm going to put forth. And this right here is from a Jewish writer defending the Jews, but a Jewish writer. So how can you try to put forth and block something that your people put out? Listen to what it says. It says the participants in the Atlantic slave system included Arabs, Berbers, scores of African ethnic groups, Italians, Portuguese, Spaniards, Dutch, Jews, Germans, Swedes, French, English, Danish, white Americans, Native Americans, and even thousands of New World blacks who have been emancipated or descended from free slaves, but who then became slave-holding farmers or planters themselves. This is just not about you. This is not just about you. It's about almost 15 different ethnic groups in this column that participated in the Atlantic slave trade. You are just a minority few that was amongst a bunch of different ethnic groups. Africans cannot even be dissolved from their blame either. They sold their people away for guns, for monetary value, which is wrong. You can't do that. You can't use a human being for monetary gain. I can understand as far as like with a job, like when you paying them, but as far as how slaves were being treated back then, what was they making? All they was given was food and a place to rest their head. They could have had that same thing in Africa, living in on their own without a master. You get what I'm saying? So, like I was saying in my disclaimer in the beginning of this video, in no way, shape, or form am I saying that Jewish people dominated the slave trade. All I'm saying is Jewish people did have a part in it. You get what I'm saying? For instance, now, mind you, this is a Jewish author talking about the Jewish slave trade. So if you feel that it's slander against Jewish people, why aren't you going for this man? Jacob Rader Marcus, a historian and Reform rabbi, wrote in his 4-volume history of American Jews that over 75% of Jewish families in Charleston, South Carolina, Richmond, Virginia, and Savannah, Georgia owned slaves, and nearly 40% of Jewish households across the country did. The Jewish population in these cities was quite small, just like in the disclaimer in the beginning of the video. Not saying that you dominated the slave trade. The Jewish population in these cities was quite small. However, so the total number of slaves they owned represented just a small fraction of the total slave population. Eli Faber, a historian at New York City's John, I believe is Johns College or something like that. Regardless of the fact, John Jay College, reported that in 1790, Charleston Jews owned a total of 93 slaves, and that perhaps 6 Jewish families lived in Savannah in 1771. Why is that information important to you? Because the simple fact of the disclaimer in the beginning of the video, I'm not saying that you own all slaves. I'm just acknowledging that you had a part in the slave trade. Even more evidence that Jewish people did. A number of wealthy Jews were also involved in the slave trade in the Americas. Hold on, let me drink some coffee before it be cold. A number of wealthy Jews were also involved in the slave trade in the Americas. Some as ship owners who imported slaves, and others as agents who resold them. In the United States, Isaac DaCosta of Charleston, David Franks of Philadelphia, and Aaron Lopez of Newport, Rhode Island are among the early American Jews who were prominent. Prominent doesn't mean, oh, just here and there. Prominent means that you were wealthy people that succeeded in this field, in this trade. Were prominent in the importation and sale of African slaves. In addition, some Jews were involved in the trade in various European Caribbean colonies. Alexandre Lindo, a French-born Jew, to name one. Who is he? Hold on. Alexandra Eliza Magnata Lindo Alexander, birth date 1742. Where was he living at? Andrew Kingston, St. Andrew Parish, Jamaica. You get what I'm saying? Alexandre Lindo, a French-born Jew who became a wealthy merchant in Jamaica in the late 18th century, was a major seller of slaves on the island. So, not only, you get what I'm saying, did you have slaves, but you were prominent in having slaves. You get what I'm saying? It's not... I just don't understand how you could sit up there and act like somebody is bashing the Jewish community because a person is acknowledging something that you did. What you should be doing, instead of sitting up here trying to violate me and flag everything that I do, you should be saying, yeah, you know what? This kid is right. Even though it's not like that now in this present time, but back then, yes, it was right. It was common for people to do it. Our people was wrong. What can we do to make up for it? That's what a responsible adult would do. When I or somebody that was a definition of me, as an image of me that represented the same views that I have represented it my entire life, has done something wrong, I acknowledge it and say, you know what? You're right. What can we do to fix it? What can we do to make this better? What can we do to bring this towards the light so we can make this not only beneficial for us and you, but for all people? This is what grown people do. Grown people have learned, when you get mature and you are an adult, you learn to be self-conscious and aware of your faults. And in addition to doing that, you look for certain ways to make yourself better. I used to get in trouble too much growing up. I stayed locked up. Then donated like eight years of my life to the prison system. What did I do? I learned how to keep myself out of trouble. I haven't been locked up for years Why? Because I had to come to realization that I was wrong in the things that I was doing in my life, and I had to make up for it. So I chose a better way to learn, to teach, to be a better father, to not be around the same people that got me in those situations and wind up every one of them locked up doing football numbers. I had to learn to be a man and put family first and put the world first, from me being a hazard to innocent people. Why? Because I matured and I grew up and I accepted my faults. And what did I do after that? I asked myself, how can I make up for this? This is how I make up for it. By giving knowledge to young people who need it, who search for it, who's searching for a better path. And by you denying me from giving knowledge, that's like you're denying me from helping the future. Instead of coming and being like, I'm going to join this brother movement and I'm going to do something right. And I'm going to make up for what my people and other people have done in the past that was stupid. That's how you want to flag something, flag that to everybody in the world and say, let's make up for the things that our people in the past did. Let's make up for it. We've taken people land from them. Give it back. We may have taken the lives of mothers, sons, and all types of stuff. Let's give it back. That's how you make atone for things that you've done. That's something that you flag. You flag that up. You put that and plant that in the ground and say, we gonna do something better for the future. But until then, man, peace to the gods and the goddesses. I'm going to put the slides up in this video for everything that I've uploaded, so you already know. Until then, peace to the gods and the goddesses of the nation, of the land, and of all creation. And make sure that you take heed to what I say. Bless.